I played Super Paper Mario when I was little, and I loved it. I played Paper Mario Sticker Star, and I loved it. It was a fun game. I loved the puzzles, the character, the aesthetic, the charm, the little gags, the everything. I collected every sticker I could find. I found all the life upgrades. I did nearly everything. I loved that game. Paper Mario Sticker Star was, in fact, an amazing game to me. But I had then gotten access to the internet. The internet is truly the twisted thing. This thing I had loved when I was little, I saw everyone screaming at, laughing at it, calling it garbage. You wanna know what I did? I laughed along with them. So, I disliked Paper Mario Sticker Star, now you could say. By this point in my life, I had gone back and beaten Super Paper Mario a few times, and it had become one of my favorite games ever. About 2 years ago in 2020, and yes, that is awful to think it's been that long of a time, I decided, hell, I'll play all 5 Paper Mario games. Because why the hell not? I had never played 64, or TTYD, or Color Splash. So, again, why not? I played the first 2 games, enjoyed them. I played Super, enjoyed myself. And then we got Sticker Star. After years of constantly hearing so many bad things over and over again, my expectations were as low as humanly possible. What possibly could this game offer me in its story, its gameplay, its presentation, or literally anything? And I don't think I can describe what happened next. I played Sticker Star, liked it, all over again. I'm not saying Paper Mario Sticker Star is a good game. In fact, I don't think that's the case at all. I think Paper Mario Sticker Star is an awfully designed game. I realized that opinions can be shaped by others, and I needed to stop getting my opinions tangled up with foreign opinions. And Paper Mario Sticker Star is what really told me that. Sticker Star has barely any analysis on any kind of level. Most times anyone brings it up, it's, haha, Sticker Star bad. And that's the end of the joke. I have only seen a few times when I can see someone actually go into why it is a bad game. I probably realize that many people don't want to talk about Sticker Star and just like to brush off the game as Sticker Star bad, but whenever I see one of these Sticker Star bad jokes, I just kind of roll my eyes, because whenever I hear them, I just think, what if someone actually went in to that? What if someone actually told me why it was bad instead of just going, haha, it's a bad game, okay, moving on? Because it is so much more than just, haha, bad. There's so many facets to get into. You may not agree, fine. Have whatever opinion you want on the game. As long as you can argue it, and I will be perfectly fine with your opinion. However, this goes for any opinion of anything. If it is inarguable, I don't seem to respect it. We're good? Alright. Let's begin. To start, I'd like to focus on why Paper Mario Sticker Star was destined to be hated. So, why was it? Well, we start our story long before the game was announced. In fact, back towards the times of Super Paper Mario. Super Paper Mario was praised by critics. It got fairly great scores, and it is still the best-selling Paper Mario game to date. Now, that might just be because it was the first game with the name Mario on it when the Wii released, but that's besides the point. For fans of the series, though, it was more of a mixed reception. Some people just don't like the game, and I can see why. When you have a game you love from your childhood, like The Thousand Year Door or 64, you want to keep seeing true sequels to them, and, well, Super Paper Mario is not that. Super Paper Mario is a 2D action RPG platformer. I'm not saying Super Paper Mario was only disliked because of nostalgia, as the game does have many noticeable problems. But nostalgia is one of the biggest powers in our modern world. It can push people to do crazy things. And personally, I think the game has tons of flaws, but it's still phenomenal. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Comparing it to what it's not, and what it's not trying to be is a bit ridiculous. While yes, this game does have the name Paper Mario on it, from the start, it wasn't designed to be like the two previous games. So why judge it as one? Anyways, why would they do this? Why not make another turn-based RPG? The answer is surprisingly simple. Do you remember how this game came out at the beginning of the Wii's lifespan? Well, there's a simple reason for that. Super Paper Mario is a GameCube game. It was worked on after the Thousand Year Door, based on the Bowser's side-scrolling segments. They didn't want two of the same game on one console. Until the next console, when they would do another turn-based RPG. Unfortunately, that did not happen. The Wii had been in development during the production of the game, and by the end of 2006, development had moved to the Wii. The game was released in April 2007 on the Wii, becoming the very first Mario game on that system. The only thing I can't seem to put a pin on is why they wouldn't make another game for the Wii. They had enough time, as they could have just used Super's engine. But no, they didn't. I find it a bit odd. But as we get to the second part of the story, we can realize that there might have been something else that made them reconsider. The Club Nintendo survey. This is something that most Paper Mario fans know of. This survey's results were, and I quote, "Yeah, with regards to this story, we did a survey on the Super Paper Mario game in Club Nintendo 25, and not even 1% said the story was interesting." This survey happened more than 2 years after the game's release. So what's the deal? If you ask literally anyone who's ever played Super Paper Mario, they'd likely say the story is the best part. I've never met anyone who would say differently. Well, there's something in that quote I find a bit odd. So let's look at the quote again. "Yeah, with regards to this story, we did a survey on the Super Paper Mario game in Club Nintendo 25, and not even 1% said the story was interesting." Did you notice that? A survey over the Super Paper Mario game. It's a bit vague. I doubt they got the info messed up. So I think there's one thing that might have happened. It wasn't a question on the survey. The survey, it asked people's thoughts on the game, perhaps. And none of them talked about the story. Which would still seem odd, but who knows. That's the only solution I could think of other than someone changing the results to reflect their personal wishes or just some awful misunderstanding. Whatever happened, it changed the course of Paper Mario forever. As a lot of people know, Miyamoto was somewhat involved with Paper Mario Sticker Star's development. Here are a few quotes from the Iwata Asks for Paper Mario Sticker Star. I will use this document as a reference many times throughout this video, and it will be linked in the description, as well as all the other sources I use. Miyamoto-san really persevered with Paper Mario this time. Exactly what was he particular about? Well, aside from wanting us to change the atmosphere a lot, there were two main things Miyamoto-san said from the beginning of the project. It's fine without a story, so do we really need one? And, as much as possible, complete it with only characters from Super Mario World. The project came together because of that idea, Kudo-san. You were in charge of the script, so what did you think about whether a story was necessary or not? I originally saw it in a way that was similar to Miyamoto-san. Personally, I think all we need is an objective to win the boss battle at the end of the game. I didn't think we necessarily needed a lengthy story like in an RPG. Instead, we looked at the characteristics of a portable game that can be played little by little in small pieces and packed in lots of little episodes and ideas. I always liked putting in little ideas, so I actually enjoyed it. According to the art director Aoyama, at the beginning of development, they were simply just going to make a Paper Mario game like the first two, with a gimmick using stereoscopic 3D. Before the 3DS was released, they released screenshots of the game. Let's look at them, shall we? This first one has Mario running through a grassy, forested area. And hey look, it's a screenshot of the battle that seems to be from the first area. Notice how all these designs are the exact same as the Thousand Year Door in Super. Also, there seems to be a Chain Chomp partner. Here's another screenshot. Battle system originally did not use stickers. They were just for puzzles. This information is from the Iwata Asks. One other thing I do notice is the battle's on a stage, like Thousand Year Door. So, let's move on to this one, with a Monty Mole King boss. An original design. He threw a boulder at Mario. This next screenshot has Mario in a card castle. The last one I'll show is this one of Wiggler and some poison. Not much to say, I just think it looks pretty cool. In fact, in my opinion, the art style in this beta is better than the actual game. Not to discredit the actual game, but I like this art style a lot. That's it. There are a few more, but they really aren't that interesting. I will show a short video, which is basically the accumulation of everything in those screenshots, so have a look. It is obvious that this is a very early beta. Very little areas look done, there's one partner, there's one original design, and there's a lot more to get into. Now, to anyone who's played this game, this looks very different from the actual game. It's almost like they switched directions, suddenly at some point. Let's get back to the Iwata Asks, shall we? After E3, Miyamoto-san played the prototype and said it was just a port of the GameCube version. I had heard that at first Miyamoto-san said that something like an RPG would be fine. So for a while, I thought that something like the previous game would be fine. So we wondered what to do. Then the idea of using stickers came up. Originally, the plan was to use stickers here and there for solving puzzles on the overall map, and so forth. But then we thought, if we're going to do that, then we might as well use stickers for the whole thing, including battles. We decided to begin rethinking the game mechanics. I've seen people blame Tanabe for this change in direction, but I wouldn't be so sure it was him. He was working on DKC Returns at the time, which was finishing up its development. Iwata specifically told him not to get involved in any more projects. He was actually able to dig into development in early 2011. The E3 where the screenshots were shown was 2010. Also, many of Tanabe's statements in the Iwata Asks seems like he wasn't present much for the events before 2011. The actual cause for Sticker Star's creative overhaul is still very much unknown. In my opinion, it seems to be a combination of a ton of things. Miyamoto's influence, first of all, was probably the biggest factor. I'm not saying it was him who personally did this, but his name has a huge influence. Second of all, Tanabe. He, as we will see a bit later, adopted Miyamoto's design philosophies, even after Miyamoto abandoned them himself. He now thinks the most important thing he can do is give something new, every time. Though much of his influence in the series is about its direction after Sticker Star's conception. If you look at his interview right before Sticker Star's release, and then his interview right before the Origami King, they seem like two different people. One answers all the questions, one seems to dodge them, one seems incredibly passionate about what they're making, and the other one seems fixated on creating something new. Third of all, 90% of the development team was new. Does anyone know why this is the case? No, but it probably didn't help anyone to have no one who knew what a Paper Mario game was on their team. And lastly, the whole Club Nintendo survey thing. I don't want to get into the Origami King interviews right now because that's, well, a whole other can of worms. But let me pull a few quotes out. Since Paper Mario Sticker Star, it's no longer possible to modify Mario characters or to create original characters that touch on the Mario universe. The philosophy of game creation that Mr. Tanabe learned from Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto, and that in turn which he's imparted to me, is to challenge yourself to create new gameplay. Games are entertainment after all, so I want the people who play our games to go, wow! I do look through the opinions of fans once a game is released, as there are cases where I can't address those opinions exactly as fans want. I try to challenge myself to other new fun ideas. What I always keep in mind, though, is to do as much as I can so that players can enjoy new and unique game experiences. I'm confident that if you play Paper Mario the Origami King, you'll understand how many ideas we managed to pack into one game. I'm not going to go into how bad those three quotes are, but yeah. In the first quote, as you heard, it's no longer possible to modify Mario characters or create new ones. Why? Don't know. It could be Tanabe. It could be some super secret advisors. Hell, it could be someone watching this for all I know. We just don't know who enforces these restrictions. And that's a lot of how you could describe this story. We don't know much about how any of this happens. It just happens. But let's just move on with our story. Right, so we wondered what to do. Then the idea of using stickers came up. Originally, the plan was to use stickers here and there for solving puzzles on the overall map and so forth. But then we thought, if we're going to do that, then we might as well use stickers for the entire thing, including battles. And we decided to begin rethinking the game's mechanics. So that's when the policy of going all out with stickers came to the forefront. Yeah, but at first I couldn't really dig into development, and I couldn't really easily resolve that. And so, the game drifted in another direction. On screen, you'll see some screenshots from a Nintendo conference in 2010. They're a lot closer to the game than the E3 build. It was early 2011 when Tanabe could finally dig into development. In February of that year, Tanabe got Taro Kudo, the writer for Super Mario RPG, to come help with development. Then, in spring 2011, they gave Miyamoto another prototype. And he found it boring. For this, January 8th, 2011, Nintendo World. A new trailer was produced. This looks basically identical to the original game, with a few differences. The battle system looks really similar to the original, minus a few differences. The levels look similar, and that's it, really. This was before Miyamoto said he found it boring. The next trailer was at E3 that year, and as games usually do, it looks even closer to the actual game than before. At this point, they probably had all the gameplay nearly down, and they're probably moving to the other things. Level design, bosses, etc. By November 2012, the game was released. I just want to pause for a moment before we get to the actual game. I just want to remind everyone that this game, no matter your opinion on it, is not pure garbage. It is not a pure pile of unadulterated shit. A lot of people put a lot of time into this game. A lot of people seem to care a whole lot about making the best game they thought they could make. Tanabe, Kudo, Nakajima, Aoyama, and Nagata, and everyone else on the development team seemed to think they were making an extremely good game. Yes, just like that. All kinds of people became involved in making Paper Mario Sticker Star. Lastly, as the makers of the game, could you each say something to the fans about what you want to convey or draw their attention to? Let's start with you guys from Intelligent Systems. Okay, I'll start. The game's mechanics are quite different from the previous Paper Mario games. Without a doubt, it turned out to be a Paper Mario game. Please, look forward to it. As the one in charge of the maps, we really made the entire game world out of paper. So this is a world that is unlike any you've ever seen before. It holds lots of sights and happenings that are impossible in reality. I hope people will look at that and be surprised. I've been involved throughout the entire series, but this is the first time the game has a world map, so you can play the courses over and over. We tried to make it enjoyable no matter when you play, or which areas you play, so I hope everyone will really get into it. Well, as mentioned before, the mechanics present new challenges, and the game world represents a new start. We've worked hard so this game will become the new standards for future Paper Mario games, so please, play it to the fullest. Okay, Tanabe-san, you're last. Everyone else already said a whole lot. After release, you will either find it fun or you won't. After you buy and play it, I'd like to know people's impressions about this game. If you say it's fun, then I want to make another one. I hope you enjoy it. It looks like development was fun. So there's no way that this game, which came out through the various episodes you told me about today, on up through the spurt at the end, could be no fun. When you try to renew something, there's resistance, unease, and fear. So, until the goal comes into view, everyone worries and only advances cautiously. Listening to you, however, I strongly sensed how when the goal came into view, it was possible for a team to put forth so much effort and energy into it that it almost seemed like new people were working on the game. It took a little while for Paper Mario Sticker Star to make it into the world, but that just shows how much time and energy people have placed on it. There are probably still all kinds of interesting aspects we did not talk about here today, so I hope everyone will enjoy those places as well. Thank you for today. Well, there's the development of Paper Mario Sticker Star. It's frankly one of the oddest developments I've ever seen for a game. So it's coming to the part where I actually talk about the game. Wonderful. Let's start from the beginning, eh? The beginning of the story is honestly really charming. Seeing the book as all Paper Mario games start. The beginning has no words at all, and I think it's a really good stylistic choice. The music tells all the story it needs to, and there's really no need for words. Really, the beginning of this game could have set up a good story. I mean, every Paper Mario game has a bunch of MacGuffins you have to get to beat the final boss. But the difference is they build upon that. Sticker Star literally puts the story on hold for 20 hours until you reach the final boss. The story is the big thing split into 6 pieces. Fetch. It isn't interesting. Nothing in the game develops that. Nothing tries to change the formula. You go to different places, they all have their small, little condensed stories, and then you fight the boss. You know what, Miyamoto? Maybe there's a reason people put stories in games. It's fine without a story, is what you say. Sure, maybe it is. But maybe stories add extra enjoyment to games that weren't there before? New Super Mario Bros. DS has no story. But is it bad? No. It's one of the best 2D Mario games out there. But just because a game is fine without a story doesn't mean it shouldn't get one. That is overwhelmingly clear in Sticker Star. Sticker Star would be so much better if it had an actual story. Some sort of overall narrative. But it doesn't. Though, there are parts in which the stories inside the chapters kind of shine. In Chapter 3, you help Wiggler clear the forest of poison and put his body back together. In Chapter 4, you head through cold terrain to an eerie mansion filled with ghosts, and then onto a ski lift ride to a statue of Bowser, then ride an amusement park ride on a minecart track to the statue itself. In Chapter 2, you have to find 3 pieces of a tower which Kamek destroyed and hidden chests in the different levels. Then you climb up the mysterious tower, which turns out to have a baseball stadium on the top. Though I will say Chapter 1 and 5 just don't have a story. Chapter 1 is just kind of chasing Goombas to their forest, and Chapter 5 is just going through a forest and a volcano. I would like to focus on the other things first, then I'll go over chapters individually. Now let's talk about the world design and graphics. This is one of the best, if not the best looking 3DS game. The Papercraft world is just truly stunning. Instead of a pop-up book or a stage play or TV show, this game goes for an even odder overall theme. A diorama. The paper characters are put throughout the Papercraft world. Things often have their bottoms folded into the ground. In the beginning of the game, you unburrito a town, and all the buildings just pop out. You can see clouds attached by strings. Overall, the game just looks more than stellar. I see some try to argue that the whole paper world thing wasn't what Paper Mario was really about. And you'd be right. The reality is, the fact that the graphics are paper has nothing to do with that. The game constantly making a bunch of paper puns kind of does. If the whole paper pun thing, which I'm going to save for another time when it's way more relevant, didn't exist, would you be complaining? That's like saying a sandwich is bad because I keep making bad puns about sandwiches. If I wasn't making the puns about sandwiches, would you care? That's about it graphically. Nothing much else to say. What is an issue, though, is the character designs. They all rub me the wrong way. These new designs removed a bit of that sense of differentiability the Paper Mario games had. Everything about it makes it seem like they're trying to sterilize the game and separate it from the games before. Everyone just looks like New Super Mario Bros. Oh, and that isn't even the worst part. Before I do show you the worst part, let me show you some of my favorite characters in the game. Toad. He's always getting himself into dangerous situations and needing help from Mario. And here's Goomba. He hates Mario for constantly beating him and teams up with his friends. Goomba, 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 and last but not least, Goomba, to take you down. Here's another one of my favorite characters, Toad. He is wise and one with nature. And here's Toad. He helps you fix the town, but then he gets murdered. Comedy! So you have to revive him from the dead, and he'll hire you to create a sticker museum. Oh, and then there's Toad, who... Okay, I think I've made my point. Let me ask you, which Toad is the Toad at Outlook Point? Trick question, none of them were. Do you know how awful of a design choice this is? In an RPG, of all things, to have all of your characters not be characters. Though weird enough, I don't think it's as bad as it is in certain games. Oh, that was an awful cough. So, where was I? Oh yeah, it doesn't really affect me that much because of the non-existent story. If there's no story, there's no real important characters. The important ones, such as Kamek or Wiggler, don't need personal designs because A, they're the only one of their species in the game, or B, they're a known Mario character. So honestly, in this game, I really couldn't care less about there being the same Toad design over and over again. It's not good, and I would prefer the actual designs, but to be honest, since there's no story, I really don't care in most cases, even though I hate the decision. Stories have characters, but if there's no story, the game doesn't need characters. It's a sad reality, but it's true. So what about the few characters the game does have? Let's start with Mario.
That's it?
Moving on. There are no partners in this game. Instead, there's just Kirsty. Kirsty is... how do I say this? Annoying to be around. She often scolds Mario over and over again. She hides behind being a lady whenever anything happens, and is just really way too unpleasant. She actively tries to be unlikable. The absolute best example of this is when you save her from being stuck in a cave on a spiderweb for the rest of time, and then she yells at you for making her wait so long. You go out of your way to save her, and she yells at you for saving her. You can make unlikable characters. It's a thing stories do. But when characters are unlikable for no reason, why should people like them? They've done nothing but berate you the entire adventure, and you want me to think they care? Kirsty isn't even useful. You ask for a hint and she'll say some piece of bullshit. Her hints are like if someone asked me the answer to a math test and I said, the question is the answer to the question. When I was little, I had to search up guides to do the puzzles because the hints were not useful at all. Honestly, why can't I just use Kirsty as a sticker in Chapter 1, become more powerful than Bowser, and easily get all the royal stickers back, completely negating the entire story? Would that even change the outcome of the game at all? It would have made it pitifully easy to beat Bowser. But she only does this as a last resort. Mario would have surely revived her either way, to my dismay, and the game would end the exact same way. Having one of your only characters be asinine is really not a good start. Now for the main villain of the game, Kamek. Oh, you thought it was Bowser? I disagree. Bowser only creates the inciting incident. Kamek seems to be the one who exploits that. He seems to be a sticker enthusiast for some reason. He actively hinders you in every chapter. In Chapter 1, he fights you, and throws a comet piece into a water spout. In Chapter 2, he puts a royal sticker on a Pokey and hides it away. In Chapter 3, he seems to be affiliated with the blooper who has the royal sticker on, and rips Wiggler into pieces. In Chapter 4, he releases Booze in the Enigma Mansion, and in Chapter 6, he faces his inevitable demise. Now, Bowser shows up in the intro and the end. One of these characters actively hinders you more than the other one, and I think it's easy to see which one. Well, anyways, moving past that, Kamek is the best character in the game. He's funny, he shows his face often, he has personality, I know that's insane, right? And has actual dialogue. This game made me love Kamek when I was little. He's honestly such a fun character. I mean, he turns your stickers into flip-flops. Come on! I just remember the chill I used to feel when he dies and he just screams, King Bowser will destroy you, King Bowser will destroy you, King Bowser will destroy you, King Bowser will destroy you. Over and over again, and then just disintegrates. It's quite an odd feeling just to have right before the final boss. He's one character in this game that I feel is truly great. Lastly, let's look at Peach and Bowser. Alrighty, that's all I have to say about Peach and Bowser. Okay, I'm not gonna pull that trick again. Bowser doesn't talk once. This is easily the worst version of Bowser in any game he's been in. Sure, there's Bowser in any of the platformers, but I don't think any of them stack up to how bad this Bowser is. I wasn't expecting anything from this Bowser. Here, I expect him to open his mouth at least once. But no. I'm okay with him not talking in the intro, but that's it. How am I supposed to feel threatened by him if I don't see him do anything? The world just feels the exact same as it did before, but oh no, there's stickers now. Bowser isn't trying to take over the world. He really hasn't done anything. You don't know whether he touched the sticker comment on purpose or he's being possessed by the sticker crown. You don't know if he got the crown by accident and is mad with power. You don't know anything. Bowser being the main villain in this game is not inherently a problem, but this game strives to make it one. Compare this Bowser to the one in Paper Mario 64. Bowser in Paper Mario 64 was a threat, a massive one. In the first 10 minutes alone, he literally kills Mario and throws him out a window. Yet Bowser still manages to be funny and a threat at the same time. He is one of the best versions of Bowser in any Mario game, and he got better each game. Bowser in Sticker Star doesn't get to sit in a league with any other Bowser. Stripping one of the best characters in the Mario RPGs down to absolutely nothing is mind-boggling. And to make it even better, Peach gets the same treatment. Peach, as well, is one of the best characters in Mario RPGs. And again, was fully stripped of any character she had before. Those interludes between chapters that Peach and Bowser had in the first games, that added a lot of character to those characters, are gone. But now, Peach just gets kidnapped and gets rescued. She then proceeds to say some nice lines about how this happens all the goddamn time, and she's thankful Mario saved her, and then the game ends. Honestly, it's such a waste of two great characters. That's it for characters. 4 characters in this game, 2 of which appear in non-fights for less than 5 minutes. I could talk about the Outlook Point Toad, or the Oasis Toad, or the Shopkeeper Toads, but why? Everything about them can be summed up in a few words. To this day, it still makes me groan looking at anything to do with the story and the characters in this game. In every possible way, it fails at both. So in conclusion, the game fails massively at story and characters. The story doesn't exist. There's only one memorable character. The main villain doesn't do anything. The plot is built on sticks. The game relies on old Mario tropes, bringing nothing to the table. It emulates Paper Mario 64's plot with none of the depth. The story alone shits on the previous game's legacy. No, scrap that. Not just shits on. It shits on. Then rubs said shit all over it. Then again, a story this bad does not need characters. It only needs a protagonist, an antagonist, a goal, a beginning, and an end. It has a blank slate protagonist, a non-existent threat, a goal that's built on sticks, a beginning that should have been built up more, an end which does not do the game any favors. It all stacks up again to a big pile of shit. Oh, and speaking of piles of shit, let's talk about one even bigger than the story and characters. In fact, one of the biggest piles of shit I've ever seen. So the battle system in Sticker Star. It's not good, you know it's not good, and I know it's not good. The only way I can play this game is by walking around the enemies and running from them. So let's get into it. So you know how this game's about stickers? Well, you collect stickers in the environment and buy them, and you fight enemies with said stickers. That's all you need to know for now. This is already incredibly flawed. To have progression, you would have to make it so that later in the game you get, the more powerful stickers you get, the more health the enemies have. But how do you feel accomplished by doing that? There's no sense of progression, you just do the same thing again, but with bigger numbers. You don't work from that point. If the stickers stayed the same the entire game, it would not change. From this point alone, it's already fundamentally broken. There's no sense of achievement, growth, or payoff, or hard work. Instead, there are stickers. All stickers. The only reason to fight enemies is stickers. You fight enemies with stickers to get coins, to buy stickers, and repeat. It's an endless cycle with no payoff. The enemies are only there to hinder you. Since there's no point, the game is actively encouraging you to run past and away from these enemies. Enemies are easier to run around than ever, so why even battle them? And if you battle them, you could just run, because running in this game is utterly broken. Basically, it seems the more battles you actually do fight, the easier it is to run away for a while. And if you fail to run once, the chance of being able to run the next turn goes up dramatically. So instead of running being determined by button mashing skill, it's determined by random chance. In most cases, you'll run on the first or second try. It's rare for it to take 3 turns, but hey. At least running doesn't benefit you at all, right? At least the result of running away from the enemy isn't the same as defeating it, making it faster and more beneficial to run from the enemies, right? Right? So why even fight? Well, what am I doing here? What's this? Why even do any of this? Why are we here? What is this? Why am I doing this? What am Ah. This programming will resume after these messages. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a forever looping, unrewarding cycle? Well, we here at the Sticker Corporation have the perfect tool for you. Thing Stickers. You can find Sticker Co. approved things throughout your extremely tedious day-to-day life. Or you can buy them at select Sticker Co. markets. Then, once you have the Sticker Co. approved thing, go to your nearest Sticker Co. approved Sling a Thing stand and chuck your frustration and things at a Sticker Co. approved wall. Now that you have your thing stickers, whenever you get into a fight, hit the sticker, do a bit of button mashing, and you instantly win. Wasn't that fun? Just ask one of our dear thing users what they think. Sticker Co's state-of-the-art thing technology has made my life so much easier. Instead of doing anything, or running, I can just use things, and I never have to worry about anything again. Thing stickers are only at an absurd price at select retailers. Sticker Co. If it's completely putting the entire game into question you want, Sticker Co. will be there. Results may vary. Some parts sold separately. Liberties may apply. Now that I've taken a small break, let's have some fun. Even though there's no real reason to go look back at the battle system, I still think it's important to talk about the rest of it. So let's start with the actual stickers then. Most stickers have a few variants. First you have worn out stickers, which only exist for the jump and hammer. These deal the least damage. Then you have normal stickers. These stickers are the base form for every sticker related to it. Next we have shiny, which are a huge step up from normal stickers. You can one-shot kill almost every enemy in the game with these. Then we have flashy stickers. These deal a lot more damage than shiny stickers, but are usually less easy to find in the overworld. They one-hit kill every enemy in the game, no question. Then we have big shiny stickers. The name is kinda stupid, but these are only in a few select places in the world. They deal, as you'd expect, a lot more damage, which is kind of useless considering you already one-shot every enemy. Then there are Mega Flash stickers. Basically, overwhelmingly strong stickers. There's only one of these per each sticker type in the world, but they respawn upon re-entering a level. They will eviscerate anything in the known universe. That's all. Did you notice that there's really no difference between shiny and everything above? They all just kinda one-shot everything. A single shiny hop slipper can kill literally every enemy in the game, unless they have a spike on their head. Why can the second out of 5 tiers of a sticker one-shot every enemy in the game? To hell if I know. Hop slippers are easily better than every other jumping sticker, so why even buy or use them? Hop slippers are all you need. Unless, of course, you can't jump on the enemy. In that case, just use literally any other shiny sticker that isn't a jump, and you win. Want to make this even worse? Literally, in the first level, you can farm the most powerful sticker in the game multiple times. Granted, it will take a long time, but you get a sticker that allows you to jump on an enemy, 1 damage 100 times, the Infinijump. Destroy every enemy or boss. So after hearing this, how much strategy and difficulty do you think this game has? The answer is none. The game makes a weak attempt to be strategical by having so many sticker types and tiers, but ultimately, it's like if I had 2 burritos. These burritos are filling enough, but they keep bringing out more burritos. You don't eat them, because you're full, and you leave. These burritos do not need to be there. they ended up being thrown in the trash. Or a pizza place menu, with 100 different types of tomatoes as toppings. It's options for the sake of having options. More tomatoes for the sake of having more tomatoes. It's a shame all these were in the game, really. A lot of these stickers would have made interesting action commands in any other Paper Mario game, but alas, they're forever destined to just be left in this game. Oh, speaking of action commands, dear lord, do you love pressing A? Because that's all you do in battles. Want to jump? Press A a few times. Want to use your hammer? Press A once at a hard-to-determine time. Want to use a fucking mushroom? Hit A once at a certain time that is so hard to actually understand that I'm pretty sure most people who have played this game have no idea that you can actually time the mushrooms for more health. Clone jump? Press A. Slap hammer? Press A. Everything you could possibly do is press A. There is one action command that is not press A, and it is blow into the mic, but hey, we won't tell you because that's okay. So just button mash like all the other button commands and fail like the idiot you are. Every thing sticker button command is button mashing, even if it doesn't seem that way at first. When I played the game for the first time when I was little, I just thought you had to hit A at the right time and it would work. Like, look at the scissors. Doesn't it look like you're supposed to hit A at the right time? But nope. Every single one is just telling you to mash A. There are only a few that don't include mashing, but they all include pressing A. So it's inconsistent. Why should I know which ones are mashing and which ones are timing? How am I supposed to know the cake wants me blown in the mic? Oh well. Anyways, is the game strategic or difficult? No. It is mind-numbingly easy and simple, and all you need to know to make that deduction is that there's one button to use for everything. The rest just adds hundreds of liters of rubbing alcohol into the fire that is this battle system. Boy, do you want to press A even more? Well, boy, do I have the deal for you. Welcome to the Battle Spinner. If you pay us a barely even noticeable fee of 3 coins, you get to play a hard-to-time roulette and probably get to use 2 stickers in one turn. If you pay 15 coins, you can use 2 stickers guaranteed. Pay 30 more, and you'll be able to slow down the 2 slots you're rolling. But not the final one for some reason, so there's no benefit to doing this. Have fun steamrolling every enemy in the game, even more than you do already. I don't know how in any way the system could be good. It is so far gone. I don't think I could even suggest a fix to it. It seems to be so untested and unrefined, so boring and dull and unfun, that I have no idea how to make it better than just removing it. And what do you know? That's my secret to enjoying the game more. Completely avoid most of the gameplay, if you even call it that. Don't battle. Walking around the enemies is more fun. Anyways, that sure was a big pile of shit. I never want to do that again. So I'm a bit tired. I just talked about a bunch of really shitty aspects of the game. I'll take a break for now. Maybe I'll just talk about something that's a tiny bit less shitty. I'll start talking about the gameplay that isn't battling. Jumping around and hammering stuff is a bit fun, at least. Some of the levels are designed well if you ignore the battles, I guess, for better or for worse. But there's unfun levels thrown in every once in a while. But if I want great platforming, there's plenty of other games to play. Why should I play Stinker Star if it has fine platforming if I can get that in other places? I wouldn't have to deal with the battles, nor the story, nor the characters. I feel kind of bored during the tedious platforming because there's nothing of substance. Nothing to be engaged in. You walk, you jump, you solve the occasional boring or tedious puzzle, and you're beat. It's just droning. There isn't an interesting gameplay gimmick like Super, or a bunch of special moves like the first 3 games. Instead, it's only Mario, only jump, only hammer, and it's boring. The problem with the platforming is that it's mediocre. That's all I can really say. I would praise this in any other Paper Mario game. If it had partners, a gimmick, special moves, there'd be so much more to beef up the levels, and it honestly would not be mediocre. But no. Instead, it's attached to this battle system, and this story, and these characters. Oh well, just another thing that fails to live up. I mentioned puzzles a few moments ago. Well, that's one of the things that this game was supposed to be focused on, right? Are they any good? Have you learned anything from this so far? Of course they're not good. Let's start from the root. Paperization, the game's main gimmick. You pick up scraps and stick them on only certain highlighted places. There's no problem solving here. There's no thinking. The puzzle is, oh, there's a purple spot in the world. Guess I need a scrap. Okay, I have the scrap. I put it in. Puzzle solved. There are only a few times where it goes above this, mostly when there's a scrap already in the place where you put the scrap, but it's barely even more complicated. It's just one extra step. Sometimes you just rotate a scrap and put it in the same place. It's just boring. It's not creative. It doesn't engage the mind. Oh, but there's another type of puzzle, one that anyone who's played this game will immediately know. Puzzles where instead of using scraps, you place thing stickers. For example, there's a windmill. Place a fan and you solve the puzzle. But almost all of these just straight up suck. There's a tornado. Use the vacuum. Ah yes, the notorious tornado stopper. Use the radiator to melt an entire snowy mountain. Logical. It doesn't help that there's no hints about what the item is, other than the first vague hint. So if you figure it out, you can't just use trial and error over and over again. Sometimes, the item you need won't even be somewhere you know. The radiator is a prize for doing something extra in part of the game, and it's easy to miss. The vacuum's at a level you were never expected to go before. That's really it for gameplay. Now I'll change the structure of the video a bit. I'm going to go over every single level in the game. After every level in the world, I will go over the boss and give overall thoughts on the world. Repeat until the end. Alright, let's start. I already talked about this in the very beginning of the video a while ago. After Bowser does his whole thing, you have to do a bit of toad saving. Saving the toads is actually really kind of fun. There's only one really annoying toad to find. Once you save them all, you unbreed out of the town and just murder this green toad. Then you leave. Overall, the intro is actually really quite fun. Ekalberg is a pretty small town. There's 3 houses, a museum, a sticker fest area, and a sling thing stand. That's it. I guess only 3 toads need houses. The rest of you just sleep on the ground. It doesn't really feel like a place that people could live in. Just a small little hub for your adventures. It's a nice place with a nice atmosphere, and that's about it. As I mentioned before, there's 3 houses, and all of them have something different in them. The first one has newspaper articles about green guy sightings. There's little funny reports of people seeing Luigi in different places. You unlock them after you find a Luigi in a certain level and you paperize him. There's 5 of him, and if you get them all, he appears in the credits. There's another house for this toad you meet in every world. He's always being assaulted, and you always have the option to either pay the enemies to get them to back off or fight them. I usually just pay to avoid battling, but fighting them is really easy most of the time. Every time you save him, a new photo and story about the world appears in his house. Once you read the last one, his friend who is just in his house starts crying, and then gives you a HP up heart for no reason, then just leaves. There's one more house, and it's just for a toad you save in World 1. He just stays there the entire game. Then there are the festival grounds. They're wrecked at first for obvious reasons, but they're rebuilt more and more after every chapter you beat. It's a nice touch, and it adds a little bit more life to the town, unless, of course, you never went back there once. Then there's this shop and the sling thing stand, and that's really quite about it. It's a small town, and there's nothing really special in it. There's one thing I failed to mention in Diegelberg. The sticker museum. You see, if you save this toad who's under the fountain, he'll open up the sticker museum, and you agree to help him to turn it into an actual museum by giving him every sticker in the game. Overall, this place is great. The whole feel of the place is amazing. The way you can notice which room you can put stickers in based on the light of the room is a really nice touch. The reward for getting all the thing stickers is really nice to have. There's just so much to like about it. But there's one thing that stops it from being amazing. Backtracking. If you place a sticker in the museum, it leaves your inventory. Forever. That's fine for most stickers. But the rare ones, the Mega Flash ones that can only be found in one area in the game, the thing stickers, it's backtracking hell. Usually the way I do it is instead of filling up the museum over time, which is probably how the game wants you to, you take one big hunting spree at the end of the game for about 2 hours, not counting the time it takes you to save all the money to buy all the secret doors you need to get to all these things. The sticker museum, to me, is ruined by backtracking. Lots and lots of backtracking. Level is fine, I guess. It's just kind of boring. It's your just normal kind of 1-1 level. There's nothing really special about it. You fight Bowser Jr., which is, I guess, nice to see him in the series. And then after you beat him, he just, like, vaporizes a bridge. And his dastardly plan is just to throw it onto a ledge instead of, I don't know, taking it or literally just vaporizing Mario. If anyone just vaporized Mario instead of vaporizing some other random junk, the game would be over much sooner. I do like the Goombas just showing up out of nowhere and bullying Mario all the time in this chapter. Again, level's fine, just really kind of boring. If Kirsty can just make the Battle Spinner win, why can't I do that every time? After she stops it for free, she says it like she's toying with Mario the entire game. That really helps her character. The level's also okay too. I like the little puzzle where you have to find out where to place the fire flowers and ice flowers. It's pretty well hinted at, and there's a nice reward for people who actually are willing to come back. There are a few flowers throughout the level, so you'll easily have enough once you beat it. Again, the level's just there. Nothing really special about it either. Again, Kamek just vaporizes, and it makes no sense why he didn't just do it to Mario. He does take the comet piece, though, which I guess makes some sense. The level is also just kind of there. There's nothing special about it. There's a secret exit where you jump off a bridge, but on literally any other bridge, you can't jump off the bridge, so it's completely different than anything the game has ever taught you to do before and after. Oh well. I decided to go up here first because I don't like the windmill in 1-4. The star gets used here first for one of the only times in the game. I really do like the Starman song in this game, but the level doesn't have much else interesting about it. The level uses trees that fall over, but it doesn't tell you that they fall over, so it's a bit annoying figuring that out. If the game told you to do it to knock over the Rube Goldberg machine, it would be fine. But nope, it leaves it way too ambiguous for anyone to really know what to do. The whole Rube Goldberg machine part really highlights the art style of the game, though. And in general, playing it on an emulator, which I'm totally not doing, looks really so much better than the 3DS. Anyways, this is the most unique level in the first world, but that ain't saying much. The shot of the fortress at the beginning is really cool, and so is the rest of the level visually. By this point, in the end of the first world, I have taken 1 point of damage in this entire world. It's a fine level, it's structured nicely, and it's fine, I guess. Something I did notice at the end is the Goomba says Bowser entrusted the royal sticker to him, yet in the intermission, he just finds it and puts it on. That's a pretty odd contradiction. Level's fine, though. World 1 is fine. It's mostly just boring. Everything is so easy to do. It gets sort of interesting by the end in a Goomba fortress, but even then it's not even really that interesting. The world has no story, no sense of direction, or anything of the sort. You just go from point A to point B because, oh, there's a level there, so I guess I should keep moving forward. I have no reason to care about the world either. It's not like anyone interesting or anything interesting is here. There's a few toads I forgot existed after I met them, and that's it. It's not like any level in the world was that interesting, or any set piece was really interesting. It's just a basic world with nothing special, with a bunch of mediocre, forgettable, and kind of boring levels. That's it. Mega Sparkle Goomba is the best character and boss in the game. His design, it's so creative, even I couldn't have thought of it. They put a crown on a Goomba. It's genius! He has such a great character arc throughout the chapter. You first meet him at the very end of the last level, and he fights you with all his Goomba friends. But when you beat him senseless, they leave him alone with you. And he believes he can handle you himself. Insane character development. Alpha Dream knew they had to put him in the crossover with the Mario and Luigi series just because how good of a character he was. His boss fight is so complex that your puny, insignificant mind can't handle its complexity. The boss fight has so many downright insane mechanics, such as only doing 1 damage to the boss with any sticker that isn't a thing sticker. Or like when you can use the fan to blow him to pieces. Like that commentary on world politics is insane. And symbolizing it using a fan? That's even more insane. And when you've gotten him down to 1 health and all his friends leave him, that's such an emotional moment. Considering the 5 minutes we see in this boss on the fight, as you can see, Their puny, insignificant minds cannot handle the sheer brilliance that is Mega Sparkle Goomba. Utterly forgettable. I went here just to show you can do things out of order. You meet Wiggler here, who informs you the entire forest is dripping with poison, and he needs help to get fresh, clean leaves for him to eat again. He gets kidnapped while talking to you by a big tentacle, and you move on with your day. The level has a really annoying part at the end where these goddamn boomerangs just knock you off the platforms into the poison over and over again. But that's really it for the level, it's just boring, there's nothing to see here. It's cool that it transitions from grass to desert. You can see the next level in the background, which is also cool. But the required secret is complete garbage even with context from the sign I didn't even know existed in another level. Like, really? They sink yourself in sand in a really annoying spot to find that happens to be the only spot that doesn't insta-kill you. That's just idiotic. Overall, the sand sides are annoying and it's a meh level. The Yoshi Sphinx is cool. Dry bones are a bad enemy because they don't die. And the Chemic fight is fine. It's always funny when he turns everything you own into a sandal. There's a lot of dumb backtracking in this level, with having to go through the level twice to get the HP up heart and the comet. If you get the comet before you go on the Yoshi head, you have to do it again. It's a cool level, but really not that great overall. The part where the paratroopers you see since level 2-1 acting as airplane pilots is pretty cool, but ultimately just fails since I used a single boomerang sticker without an action command and one-shot all three of them with one sticker. The fact they're also all just normal Koopa designs detracts from it a lot. Easily one of the worst levels in the game. It's 2D. If you take one wrong turn, you have to fight a bunch of enemies that you can't avoid, then go back to the start. There are 2 comet pieces meaning you have to do the level twice and it just sucks. I really like the last room, but that's literally it. The entire level is just guessing. You gotta go guess which path to go down, guess which doors to go in. Once you go the right way once and you get the first comet piece, you go down the exact same route to another door, so it doesn't even change. It's just doing the same level twice, for no reason. Is this even really a level? You can use a vacuum from a level that most people probably hadn't gone to yet, and suck up a sandstorm. Then you have to get a faucet to make an oasis. So the real level's just backtracking through 2 levels to get stuff you need and going back. Once you get the stuff, there's no level left. You get the last treasure chest and that's it. Oh well, the sign that shows you where the 2-1 chest is here too. But since the sandstorm blows you in the exact opposite direction of it, and also obscures your view, and also since the signs haven't been necessary to read so far, I only found it on my most recent playthrough. It's that hard to notice. The tower popping out of the ground is pretty cool and a bit funny. It's a cool animation. Overall, it's a fine final dungeon, I guess. The sticker puzzles suck. Using a line jump instead of a normal jump should just be fine, but nope, it has to be a normal jump, and it has to be a normal hammer too. You can't use any of those dumb slap hammers which the level gives you. No. The level starts to drag, and then there's some unavoidable enemies which annoys me. The mural Koopas and Goombas are cool, I guess. It's nice there's a pipe that goes to the bottom from the top to save time if you really need to go get things, but meh. It's a very meh level. World 2 tries to have a world that isn't solely based on finding comet pieces, but all that leads to is annoying puzzle after annoying puzzle. The entire world is mediocre level, then okay level, then bad level, then mediocre level, and then mediocre final dungeon. The puzzles range from jump in between 2 cactuses in quicksand because you'll sink through it instead of dying, I guess, to use an item from a level you haven't been required to go to yet because the 2 lines in the wall look like a power outlet. To place a sticker on a wall based on what stickers the wall paintings are holding, and oopsies, you have to make sure the feet, head, and body are the exact same orientation as the painting on the wall that the sticker goes on, or the puzzle will just be guessing. The entire world honestly just kinda sucks. Parts are kinda cool, like the oasis of the Yoshi Sphinx, but it's all dragged down by everything else. I won't joke on this one. Tower Power Pokey sucks. You can't hammer him, but you can jump on him, which is the most illogical thing, considering it's always been the opposite of that in literally any other piece of media with Mario in it since the 2000s. All attacks do 1 damage besides Think Stickers, so yeah. The strategy is, wait 5 turns and waste 5 stickers until you can use the baseball bat and knock down each of his segments, which absolutely shreds his health bar. Oh, and if you have the boombox, you've already won. I mean, the boombox breaks every boss in the game, so it's not really surprising. Try crumpling him and using the boombox and the bat in 1 turn. That's a fun activity. The puzzle in this boss is less of a puzzle and more of an insta-kill. You either have the thing or you don't. You beat the boss or you don't. Three 2 is unique, but very flawed. Ultimately, it's a level where there's a few paths and only one of them is the right one. The other ones send you back to the beginning. That's the entire level. It's just trial and error, and if you miss one, screw you, go back to the start. There are some vague hints on which one's the right path, but why should I even know they're hints? The level's way too short, it took me 5 minutes in total. That's a recurring theme in this world. The levels are all really short, but there are a ton. This is actually a pretty interesting level, in the fact that it's indeed not a level. It's just Wiggler's house. You come back here many times in the chapter and it's your base of operations. It's got some cute stuff in it. There's like a little drawing pad where you can see what Wiggler thinks about his adventures with you. But that's really it. It took me 1 minute to get the common piece, and 2 more minutes for the Wiggler segment. Extremely tiny, absolutely forgettable. Really just kind of annoying to get through. You can get the star comment in the Wiggler pretty easily, but once you do, you need to go to a completely other place, hidden by hidden blocks like a Mario Maker Devil exit, and get a scrap to actually progress in the game. It just isn't great. Feels odd to get a level that isn't a level. It's another shop and a Sling a Thing stand. You can also buy hidden doors for the first time. Hidden doors are a weird mechanic. There's only one place to buy them, and you can use them in battle to instantly run away. But that's not the main use. You mainly use them to fill these outlines in the world, and once you go in the door, there's a bunch of goodies, usually being a thing. You don't really want to carry around a lot of these at once, so you can't really get these unless you backtrack with intent to get them. Secret doors are really just a waste. A better idea would have been to find a hidden door in every level, which you can then use. That would have removed the coin grinding, the backtracking, the everything. Other than that, it has the Nature Toad, who has some honestly nice dialogue, and also gives you hints, surprisingly. The shopkeeper has one funny joke about his business being a monopoly, and that's about it. This level makes no sense to exist. If the game didn't have a world map, maybe it would make sense. But was it supposed to? Why is this level even here? Oh, it's the worst level in the game. You lose everything. Everything. Your stickers, your hammer, Kirsty, the battle spinner, and paperization. This is where the point I honestly realized how barren the overworld gameplay is. All you do is run around and jump. You get into unavoidable battles with spiders and hate yourself. The mid-boss sucks. It literally only exists to waste projectile stickers, and that's it. You can make fun levels that do this. Hell, Super Paper Mario did it twice. But losing everything that made the gameplay at least slightly interesting, you have an awful time on your hands. It doesn't help that Kirsty scolds you after you rescue her. The whole level is just shit. Really forgettable, but it has a few interesting things. The webs are just a mechanism to slow you down, nothing else. I remember when I was little, it took me forever to get out of this place. You had to jump into the background to find one thing, then break a web to get another, and it's just kind of annoying because there's no real clues. There's this nice looking hot spring, that's about it. Honestly, a really nice gauntlet of challenges, as the name suggests. But nothing special, no annoying puzzles, mostly no unavoidable combat, and yeah, it's honestly a pretty good stage, all things considered. Honestly, this is the most charming level of the game, but gameplay-wise, it gives nothing interesting. You do 4 challenges, one is hitting blocks, one is hammering snippets, one is hitting blocks again, one is hitting blocks and hammering snippets. It really isn't that interesting. But on the other hand, everything else is interesting. The setting, the humor, all great. I mean, a game show in a gas chamber? That's some funny shit. Though, the stage has one really glaring annoyance. The last challenge is optional, but it gives something that you need to progress past Chapter 4. So why is it optional? What purpose does it have other than making people come back? It doesn't even make sense. Oh well, it's a cool level, I guess, if not really that interesting gameplay-wise. Why do I have to go back to the Bafflewood again? And this time, I need to go down a path I didn't even know existed. Oh well, it sucks to go back here, and it adds nothing interesting to the level. You have to find a random path that you probably didn't know existed, you get the bowling ball, but if you try to use it while you have the Wheeler Summit, it knocks the ball, and you have to go back and get another one. Great game design. You couldn't have just closed off the area for some random reason instead of actually setting you back if you try to take a shortcut. I'm going to be honest here. I completely forgot this level was a level. It's fine, I guess, but there's really nothing special about it. The fact the scrap you need is a piece of tape and there are a bunch of pieces of tape around everywhere is fun. Annoyingly, I have to go through the entirety of this level twice to just get 2 comet pieces. It's annoying backtracking and adds nothing. By this point, you get so sick of forest levels and they all blend together. Thankfully, this is the last one. The aesthetics of the beach are really stunning. It feels really good being at the place you've been waiting to get to for such a long time. I'm pretty sure this is the only level with a beach in it in the entire game, and it's a nice change of pace from the straight 11-level streak of poison forests. But that's just the very first tiny area of the level. After you ride Wiggler to the actual island, he gives you a speech about being all grown up after this experience, but did he really experience anything? I mean, his head sat at the top of a tree for the entire chapter, and the 4 pieces of his body went around playing for a while. As far as I know, he hasn't changed. There's no real character growth, it's just Wiggler saying, I've grown up so much, and that's it. Anyways, you get to the island you've been waiting to get to this entire time, and you walk around with some foreboding music showing up. Then you do some really basic platforming, release a destroyed ship, and fight Goober Bloober. It's honestly kind of a letdown. It's so short and forgettable of an area, and despite being the most heavily foreshadowed area in the game, and having the coolest aesthetic in the world, it's really a shame. World 3 is too long for its own good. It rarely does anything interesting to warrant its length. All the levels blend together. I only remember a few levels semi-clearly, and if you miss one thing, you have to go through other levels again. And it just keeps going, and going, and going. By the time it ends, I'm glad it does. The setting's nice, and for once, the game tries to have a small story with the forest being poisoned. The fact that once you beat the chapter, all the poison goes away and the music changes is cool. And it's the only world that actually does something like this after you beat it, but that's it, really. Goober Bloober is hard to talk about. People seem to really like him. For the life of me, I cannot see why, other than his battle music. The fight itself consists of waiting 4 turns, using the sponge, having him fire a bunch of poison at you, which instantly gets reflected by the sponge, and then you steamroll him. The way his attacks line up with the music is cool, and the way he claps to the music is cool, but the fight just sucks. In any of these fights, there's no way to know what thing you needed beforehand, so you have to go in, figure out, leave, get the thing, and come back. It completely destroys all possible tension or build-up. Because really, the Pokey and the Cooper Blooper aren't the bosses. The backtracking is. Funny story. During the fight this time, I was in the final part where you had to use the sponge. But I wanted to use 2 stickers, so I used a Pow Block, because why not? And it crumpled Cooper Blooper, making him skip his turn, making me waste the sponge, and I got completely destroyed. Both of these bosses are awful if you don't have the weakness. Tower Power Pokey has a bunch of health, but Goober Blooper will poison you for the exact amount of turns it takes him to poison you again, gunking up the screen, dealing damage to you every turn, making it so you literally can't damage him. The only way to avoid this is abuse crumpling, so you can deal double damage and make him skip his turn. The game isn't designed for you not to use the weakness. It's not even designed for you to use anything but thing stickers. It wants you to destroy them that easily. I would just play the game without things if most normal stickers didn't just deal 1 damage to every boss. Where's the fun? Where's the strategy? You get tedium, or you get extreme ease. Choose one. To get the next 2 chapters, you need to go through Surfshine Harbor first. You also need to get the vacuum from here to get past 2-3, as the level requires you to have it. This level is available from the start of the game, but there really isn't anything for you to do here. You don't have any of the things required to progress through the harbor, so you can really only look around and get the vacuum. Even with the kind of openness the game has, the order of the chapters you do the game, it doesn't want you to do chapters 4 and 5 without doing 1, 2, and 3 first. To actually get out of Surfshine Harbor, you need to first light up the basement with a light bulb from 2-2. Which you probably don't have on you unless you either buy it or go back and get it. Then you get the steering wheel, which is in the basement you lit up. Then put it on the ship and realize the ship is tied to a pole, so you can't leave. Get the scissors from 1-1 or buy them or go back and then cut the rope holding the ship in place. You can finally leave. That was a great experience. I'm happy that didn't go on for that long. Oh wait, it's surprise big fish boss time! Aren't you happy? Seriously, I think the whole Jaws-esque scene where the fish attacks you in the ship is really cool, but honestly, you just want to get out by this point. Assuming you don't know everything you need ahead of time, which really does remove most of the backtracking in this game. You have to come here, leave, get back, get baited into the finishing level, leave, come back, get baited into the finishing level again, and fight a surprise boss. Luckily, the game allows you to prepare before you can fight him again, so you don't instantly fight him. But that can't make up for anything. The boss itself sucks. You hit it once and it'll go in the water and heal, making you waste every other sticker you use that turn. If you don't have the fish hook, which is behind one of those godforsaken hidden doors which require 80 coins each, which most players won't even go into, it's hell. Imagine getting to this point in World 2, wanting to see the other 2 worlds, and you just get hit by this. Imagine if even after World 3 this happens. You haven't seen the thing you needed before. You probably know it's a fishing rod, but you don't know where. So, if you don't intend on using a guide or just can't, you have to search every single level, or remember the hidden doors and use those in every single level, which will cost you a fortune and you will be broke. If you do that, and are going in order of level, the level the fish hook actually is in is one of the last ones you get to. So in conclusion, the game just tells you to go fuck yourself. To me, at least, it's the game creators going, what if we had the most bullshit amount of backtracking and bait and switches in one level, then immediately throw out a bullshit boss and a bullshit weakness, and see how many people will beat the game? Why did this item need to be hidden behind a hidden door that itself is hidden? Why did it need to be this bullshit? Here's a small solution. Why do you even need a boss here? What does it add? Could you tell me anything that it adds? Anything? Please. Even as a kid, I knew this boss was shit. I just kept dying over and over, and I really had no idea what to do to beat it. This game was the first game I've ever looked up a guide for. Oh well, at least aesthetically, the level's great. It's nice to have another sort of town. But oh shit, the level's just garbage. Fairly okay snow level, actually. I remember the entire layout from when I was little, strangely enough. I remember the slants and the snowballs and all the other stuff because I spent so long jumping around it. This level is one really annoying puzzle in which you use the radiator, you get from the optional stiffen or whiff it round, and melt an entire mountain. Honestly, if in Sniff It or Rivet you just got asked whether you wanted to do the bonus round, and the host just made you do it anyways, it would be decently fine. There would still be the problem of what the hell goes in this brown box, but it would at least be fine. When I was little, I tried every conceivable thing to melt the snow. Then, in sheer coincidence, I used the radiator and I did the puzzle. I had found the hidden comet piece before the actual one. Overall, other than that, I think this level's actually pretty good. It might just be from the whiplash of 12 forest levels in the hell I just witnessed in the harbor, but I actually kind of really enjoy this level. The music's nice, the snow's nice considering I just dealt with a bunch of forest for a very long time. There's a weird scene where Birdo sings on a swing and throws you a goat figurine. I like how they use those penguins from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and that's about it. Nothing really that special, but it's better than most of the stuff before. If you try to go back to the first three worlds, if you're playing either of the first levels of World 4 and 5, you get randomly attacked by Bowser Jr. with no warning. He has 100 health and is just really annoying. You can't use hammers, and sometimes he'll just pull out a bunch of bombs, making you take a ton of damage when you physically hit him. If you have no stickers to beat him because you're unaware you need to beat him, well, fuck you. I think it might allow you to go back to Deagleberg if you die, but I've never died to him and I wouldn't know, and I'm not going to go back and test the game to see. And it's not like I can find these details on the internet, so I'm just going to assume that the game doesn't give you an escape from World 4. Imagine not having the radiator and having to fight Bowser Jr. over and over again. That would suck. It is an annoying level. The aimbot sphere guys are really annoying to avoid. The grass makes you slower, meaning battles happen often, and the level just has some annoying puzzles. You get to the end, and you need 3 pieces of bridge to get the comet piece. So you need to chase 3 different spear guys for them. First one's easy enough, you corner him and kill him. The second one, though, you have to hit a flower to stun it, and be able to jump off of it. But it takes too long to get there before the flower wakes up, so what do? Almost every other puzzle in the game so far has just been paperized here, paperized there. So what's the catch? Well, the way you get past the flower is by hammering a random bush into the ground, but only in the middle of the bush or else it doesn't work. And then it gives you a shortcut to the flower. It's not satisfying to do it all, it just leaves you annoyed that that was the answer. Anyways, you pass and there's a ton of grass and another flower that takes too long to get to, so you corner the spear guy like the previous one taught you. It runs up the slope, gets murdered by a flower, spits out confetti, which I guess is his shredded remains, and the scrap he was carrying gets launched the other side of the flower. So you have to find a way to cross the flower. That was already a fine puzzle, but they force you into this one. What's the solution? There's a hidden block. Make a shortcut to the flower so you can jump across it. That's it. It's like a dev exit in Mario Maker. That's literally what it is. Anyways, go back to get the last piece, and it's a thing puzzle. What do you need? A goat or a vacuum? This is a bit vague, to say the least. Oh, really quite weirdly, the junk pile has a lot of scrap paper in it. A lot of it is junk. There's a random code that, to this day, no one has any use for. But then there's these letters from Goombella and Paracari, and that's a surprise. The game seems as key as possible to remove any relation to the previous games, but then it just throws this in. Makes no sense to me. This is the only nod or reference to any other Paper Mario game, and that's just kinda sad. Anyways, you suck up the garbage and the vacuum, or have the goat eat it, you get the scrap, you make the bridge, and move on with your life. Ice Flow is a short level about sliding on ice with penguins coming at you. It's kind of forgettable, but it's a bit fun in the moment. That's all the level is, though, other than these two small sections of platforming and ice bros who I am almost certain are using aimbot. Their ice balls just curve 90 degrees and come straight at you. It's really kind of funny to watch. Anyways, that's the entire level. Moving on. Oh, how I've waited to get to this moment. Think of every level before this. None of them can come close to being nearly as good as the Enigma Mansion. The Enigma Mansion is true to its name. It is truly an enigma. In a game so sterile and cookie-cutter, a game with puzzles so bad and uninteresting, a game with no real meaningful story, no goal, and a game with boring gameplay, the Enigma Mansion gives one glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. The Enigma Mansion manages to have the best puzzles, the best atmosphere, the best story, the best two toads, the best world building, and the best jokes in the entire game. The entire level makes me think I'm in a fever dream. The game manages to be competent for one single level. This is the best level in the game, and one of my favorite parts of any Paper Mario game. You approach this mansion on a stormy night, with the lone toad sitting on the stairs up to the mansion. There's only really the faint sound of the Super Mario World ghost house theme in the background. He says that he's the steward of the estate, and he would love to invite you in right now, but someone unleashed terrible, frightening things into the mansion by opening the Book of Sealing, which he then gives you and tasks you in catching all the scary things into the book. You enter the mansion. Mario opens every door as if he's scared on what's on the other side. There's no music, and as you walk into the dining room, lightning strikes and... terrifying things are just booze. The terrifying things are just booze. So the plan is, find all of them, put them in the book, seal up the book, and Wemo. A goal in the level that isn't just get to the sticker piece? That's insane. The mansion's massive. It has tons of secrets. The puzzles in the mansion are actually a huge step up from before. There'll be a scrap for a door, but it doesn't go anywhere. But then you realize, oh shit, the door is shaped exactly like that painting. It turns out you can replace the door with the painting. There's a puzzle in which there's this one room with a door that leads to nowhere, and there's an empty room with a single stool. And you have to paperize the entire wall and move to the other room. The puzzles in this level are such a vast difference in quality compared to the rest of the game. It's kind of insane. Battling still isn't great, but what I like to do is grab as many hop slippers as humanly possible and just one-shot every boo. That way I don't have to really think about it. Strangely, the fact that killing boos is the goal of the level actually gives you some sort of reward for battling. Granted, it isn't an actually good reward, but it's an actual incentive, so I'll take it any day compared to the rest of the game. There are these 3 doors that lead to the exact same rooms as the houses in Beagleburg, except they're ghosts instead of toads in them. And strangely enough, the level tries to have lore, world building. These bookshelves even have insight on how to time the paddle spinner, even though it doesn't help that much. There's foreshadowing the gate cliff. There's information of the Secretfest. It's all just kind of odd. There are 2 unique toad designs, granted one is just a monochrome toad. The whole level just feels great. It actually feels like there was a ton of effort put into this level. There really isn't one bad thing I can say about this level. At least, well, until the boss at the end. Kemet comes along, and since he's a big meanie, he releases all the boos and they turn into Big Boo. See, if you're like me, you just use one of the many Infinijumps to one-shot the boss. If you aren't like me, well, the boss just flat out sucks. You damage it a few times, it will turn the lights on, making it invincible. So you have to use a water or fan sticker to win. What if you don't have one? Fuck you. Also, it's way easier just to have one Infinijump and one-shot him. Also, weirdly, if you get a perfect bonus on the boss, you don't get a ton of coins. You get 2 coins. And I get 30 coins for one-shotting 3 enemies and 2 for one-shotting a boss. It's a tiny bit questionable. Oh well, that's only a small blemish on the level. And the entire level changes after you beat it. Mario is no longer scared to open doors, the music's more upbeat, and the toad is put on a coat and is sitting in his chair. Overall, the best level in the game. It's cool you can access this level but not do anything since the very start of the world. In any case, this level is just a big ski lift minigame, and unless you get in a battle, it's fun. That's really about it. It's good, I guess. To this day, I do not understand why there is a random level fully dedicated to a shop out here. It's one small room with a single shop. The toad who works here seems fine enough. I'll leave him here by himself. I'm sure it'll all work out in the end. This level's one big tourist attraction. I love it. It's just waiting in a line to get a chance to go on the minecart, and it's cool. You can cut the line, and the Shy Guys will get mad. There's also some Shy Guys bullying a toad to get him to buy a VIP ticket, which is just a secret door, which you can paperize at the front of the level to get a line straight to the minecart ride. It's a cool secret, but you're already really close to the end of the line, so it's really just kind of inconsequential. Anyways, this level is just another minigame. It's a minecart section. It's actually quite fun. There's some interesting puzzles. It honestly just makes the level my second favorite in the game. Strangely enough, World 4 is the best chapter in the game by a long shot. There isn't a bad level in the bunch. The whole thing just feels like a different game. The whole world just leaps and bounds better than the other ones. It's kind of insane. The battle itself is really cool. Fighting this giant statue, watching it crumble until it reveals a snowman inside. The music track is genuinely my favorite in the entire game. It doesn't have a thing weakness. The boss fight functionally actually works. You use fire stickers to deal more damage. That's the only weakness. Sure, if you use them, it completely destroys them, but at least it's not something you can't figure out before the fight. You most likely have some fire flowers or burn hammers to use on him, so you'll be fine. It's easy, but at least it's not the other bosses that we've faced so far. It's the best boss in the game, somehow. I mean, gameplay-wise, it isn't even really that great. It's just that every other boss just kinda sucks. A forgettable river minigame in which you avoid obstacles on a raft on a slow river. Nothing special, it isn't terribly fun, and it's really just kinda forgettable. It's kinda cool, but then you do it again in the next level, and it loses its uniqueness. You know when I said Russell Burrow was the worst level in the game? Well, here's a close second. Do you remember that raft level you just played? What if we made it require fast reaction time, even though the raft doesn't move that fast, and made you do it the level 2 times, or even more, if you miss a secret exit, and it gets harder every time you do it. You get chased by this fish who's incredibly annoying to predict. If you get hit by him, you lose a log on your raft. 5 logs and you die. Though if you get hit by him, and you're anywhere near his mouth, you instantly die. It doesn't help that the level is extremely long, so just one screw up and you start the level all the way over. The level just sucks, and that's really it. Chomp Ruins is a nice change of setting. It reminds me of a DKC temple. The level has some nice puzzles, some nice secrets, and it's overall good until you get to the top of the temple. There's a chain chomp here. You can't damage it, and it's sleeping. If you hammer the peg before you fight it, it releases the chain chomp. Though you still have to waste stickers to get it to wake up. That's the entire puzzle. Hammer the peg, waste stickers to wake it up, have it attack you, and it's really vague. I don't know how you're supposed to know to do this, considering it has a health bar, so you would assume you're supposed to damage it. But nope, you don't. It's a bad puzzle, but it's a small blemish on a great level overall. The level starts off with a thing puzzle. How wonderful. This time, you have to... I'm sorry. You have to... you have to freeze lava with a refrigerator. There are so many things wrong with that statement. It's a really vague puzzle. The only hint you have is there's a square hole in the volcano in the background. And I mean, ice, freezing lava. Once you freeze the level, the fire flowers turn to ice flowers, the fire bros turn to ice bros, and burn hammers turn to chill hammers. It's a cool change, but then the level immediately turns back into a lava level as soon as you exit the first room. The level does have some fun parkour, a few cool puzzles, and an underground Luigi hot spring. The second half of the level completely revolves around getting meteors to fall into cracks in the ground, which is cool, but it's fine. It's a good level. Hey, it's a level named after a Mario Kart track. Is it any good? Not really. You get Cursey stolen from you at the very beginning of the level by PD Piranha, so there's no paperizing or battle spinner at all. That worked out so well the last time. Let's do it again. Thankfully, the battles are easier to avoid this time, and you at least have a hammer. You start at the PD Piranha arena and fall all the way down to the bottom of the volcano. Then you go up to an elevator which launches you to the top of the volcano. So the goal is to get as many chain chomps to commit suicide into the elevator as possible to make the elevator weigh enough to go down to the PD Piranha Arena. It's a nice concept, and the level itself is fine enough. It's got some okay puzzles, and it leaves the whole sleeping chain chomp idea from the previous level, which is nice that a level continues an idea from a previous level before it. It's a fine level, and that's really it. World 5 is hard to judge. On one hand, it has 3 good levels, and on the other hand, it has an okay level and 2 slow raft levels, one of which being garbage. So the world is half good and half bad. Better than nothing. PD Piranha is the only boss without a real weakness. You just have to knock him over while he's on one leg. The problem is, once you knock him onto the ground, you deal double damage. So just use an infinite jump or a clone jump and you eviscerate him. And once you get Kirsty back and can use the battle spinner, you blast him to Mars. He just kinda sucks. He's really easy to beat, but that's not special. I love this place. Once you get the boat, you can go here, and it's just so mysterious. I love when games just cut out all the music, especially games that have a ton of energetic music, like Sticker Star. Here at Gate Peak, you can imagine how I felt when I was little, and just saw this mysterious mountain that I couldn't do anything at. And once I figured out what happens there, it really cemented the place as one of my favorites in, honestly, any video game. Of course, if you go here before you've finished all the other chapters, nothing is here. There's literally nothing there. But once you go here, if you have all the world stickers, you can press them all on the bottom of the screen and it creates a scrap. You turn the scrap over and Bowser's castle has been there the entire time. It then proceeds to fly into the air and create some scary storm clouds and lightning. Since Mario can't fly, he can't get there. But, Kirsty says, "Do you think we have a friend who can fly?" Oh, what a stupid puzzle this is. There's no friend of Mario who can fly. When you think of who can fly in your head, you'll probably go straight to the Paracoopas from the Yoshi Sphinx. But no. You brutally murdered them, so not them. The second thought on my mind when I was little was, maybe it's the giant fish. He flew into the sky after you beat him. No, it's not him either. So then it's just going to random people you've met on the journey. It's not in the Enigma Mansion or the jungle or the grassland or the desert. Then there's only one place to go. One character it might be. Wiggler. Oh no. I'm sorry, not Wiggler. Flutter. Because, oh well, off screen while you were away, Wiggler went through metamorphosis. He's grown up fully now, and now is no longer going by the name Wiggler. Only Flutter. Just finishing World 3, right before going to Gate Cliff. That's something you can do. 10 minutes ago you saw Wiggler. Now he's Flutter, somehow in the span of like 10 minutes. Oh well. He'll gladly fly you to Bowser anyways. I really like the intro to this level. The clouds, the music, it's all great. Overall, the level has like a few okay puzzles and some decent parkour, and that's about it. Then there's your final fight with Bowser Jr., which is literally just use the tail to reflect the attacks back at him, which destroys him. That's the entire level. The final level of the game is here. Oh, and it's not a level. You probably prepared with a bunch of thing stickers and a bunch of really powerful Mega Flash stickers to deal with Bowser. But before you can do that, Kamek comes along and he turns every sticker you own into sandals. What's the catch? This time, you can't see which ones are shiny or flashy. And since you brought a whole bunch of powerful stickers, have fun wasting them all on Kamek. He'll even destroy your own stickers from time to time. I had him destroy a few of my rarest stickers, only because he felt like it. Because, of course, before the final boss of the game, which you assume you have to prepare for beforehand, because that's what you've done for every other boss, you get everything you prepared for beforehand with taken away from you. The fight itself also just sucks. Kamek multiplies himself, so you have to hit all 3 of him, or else he will usually just duplicate again. But it's completely random whether he does so he's utterly unpredictable. Every turn, the Kameks will change whether they're in the air or on the ground, and if they're in the air, you have to waste a sticker, hitting them, and missing. If the first one's in the air, you can't go hit the second one. You have to waste a sticker. The entire fight's purpose is, wouldn't it be funny if we wasted all of the players' stickers right before the final boss? Wouldn't that be such a funny joke? The truth is, it's not a funny joke. It's bullshit. It wastes time, and worst of all, it wastes work. And that's really the problem here. This boss would only have been an annoyance if it didn't just waste your time and work. But no, they had to make it like this. Why? I don't know what any other person would think while making this other than, wouldn't it be funny? And that's that. Then you have a small section in which you walk across a moving carpet, which is cool, the final boss, and that's the level. By the way, there isn't a save block before the final boss, so if you forget to go back and leave the level before fighting Bowser and you die, you start all over again from before when Kamek died. The entirety of this world isn't even a world. It's a single level and 3 bosses. It's kinda sad. This entire world could have been really cool, but there's no substance to flower into anything here. Everything in the game has been leading up to this moment. The entire game has been building up to this moment. This should be the most tense, most important moment in the game. And it's the worst boss in the game. No. Not even that. It's the worst boss in any Paper Mario game. No, not even that. It is the worst boss in any game I have ever played. Think of any other boss in the game. Everything I've said about them, none of them can even come close to matching the pure hell that Bowser provides. You'll beat him senseless once. He'll walk back and fully heal. You'll beat him senseless again. He'll run away and fully heal. You'll beat him senseless again, and he'll run away and fully heal again. And you don't even kill him by emptying his health bar. Use a tail to reflect his final attack. So all the damage you do to him is useless. All you need to do is as much damage as you need to make him walk back. In that case, why does he even have a health bar? The phases themselves, and the first one has 3 doors that release enemies every turn if there aren't already enemies there, and Bowser. So, what do? Technically, you could deal with being barraged with 4 attacks every turn, or you could just use the stapler or tape and lock the doors and enemies. Then, hammer him with a ton of thing stickers. If you have the boombox, which makes every boss fight in the game a cakewalk, just double your attack with that. Optionally, you could also crumple him, doubling your attack from that, then barrage him with thing stickers. If you do that, you literally shred through the first phase, depleting most of his health. But since the boss is so well designed, you can't kill him. Like, his health bar just won't go down after like 10 health or something. Then, the fight will just keep going and going, even though you eviscerated his health bar at the very beginning of the fight. I mean, using any of those multi-damaging things in combination with the boombox, and you destroy the boss. Anyways, if you don't have the stapler, die, go to the Enigma Mansion, come back. Now you've gotten out of the first phase. Now Bowser heals, and has a Whomp with 100 HP, protecting him from all damage. Oh yeah, and you aren't supposed to even damage the Whomp. So why does it even have a health bar? Oh, and to get rid of it, use an E-hammer, because that's obvious. Obviously that's what makes it fall over. Once it falls over, make sure you use the battle spinner on the same turn so you can use the scissors on the same turn and one-shot kill it. So why does it even have a health bar? What purpose does it serve? There's this emblem on the back of it. So you'd assume you'd have to use the scissors on it. So you die, you go back to 1-1, you go back to sling a thing, you go back to the Bowser fight, you get to the Whomp. Oops! You thought that all you had to do was cut it? No, you had to knock it over before you cut it, you idiot. You want to know what to do to actually be able to cut it? Fuck you! Go through the entire fight again! Try every sticker to knock it over! Isn't this fun? Aren't you having fun yet? Once you get to this phase, you die, but you realize you have to use scissors beforehand, so you just go back and you get the scissors, and you come back, they don't work, and you have to figure out why they don't work. If you somehow figure out that you're supposed to knock him over, you have to figure out what the hell knocks him over, which might take I don't even know how long that would take to test every sticker to figure out what knocks him over. If you bring only one E-hammer, and you knock him over with it, but you don't use the battle spinner, you have to come back another time after you die, and bring more than one E-hammer, because you forgot the battle spin, to make it so you can also use the scissors in the same turn. Then, if you do everything right, you can finally proceed. This isn't to mention you have to do the first phase every single time beforehand. Once you figure out what to do to kill the Whomp, you only have Bowser, and you just eviscerate him more. He'll walk away again, and this time, he'll be in a sea of lava with Potobos. To beat this phase, you have to do the extremely logical thing, and And you gotta freeze the lava with ice. Go have fun and try to figure out what to use. Well, every turn, Bowser launches a ton of Pokeballs at you, which absolutely destroy you. So let's just say you figure it out. But that's not the only weakness. Because it wouldn't have been enough to have just one weakness. We need two. Use the fan to blow the Pokeballs into Bowser, ending the phase instantly. Weren't those two really obvious puzzles you had to do? This phase alone, you had to die, figure out you need the ice thing, get the ice thing, go to Sling-A-Thing, realize that wasn't the only weakness, die, figure out you need a fan, go get the fan, go to Sling-A-Thing, and go fight Bowser again. The farther you get into the fight, the longer it takes to get to the phase you actually need to be in. So now what? The final fucking phase of the fight. Bowser has a Chain Chomp come out. The Chain Chomp has 100 health and is invincible. So why does it have a health bar? Anyways, what you need to do is launch the Chain Chomp back at Bowser with a tail. But only certain attacks that you can't tell he will do ahead of time will knock the Chain Chomp back at Bowser. Bring no tails, do the fight over again. Bring only one tail and waste it, do the fight over again. Bring multiple tails and fail, do the fight over again. Bowser's jump attack will crumple you for 3 turns if you don't guard right in every phase. When you're crumpled, you do not have a turn. Oh yeah, and enemies deal double damage to you. So every attack, Bowser will do 20 damage. Every turn, the Womp will do 40 damage. Every turn, the Chain Chomp does 20 damage. For 3 turns. Maximum health you can have before you get crumpled is 90. Basically, block or die. That's not even the worst part. When Bowser does his fire attack and you don't block, he burns a large amount of stickers on the page, including rare stickers and thing stickers, completely destroying them. Anyways, that's the battle. Bowser wasn't the final boss of Paper Mario Sticker Star. No. The final boss of Paper Mario Sticker Star is backtracking. Backtracking is the final boss. Puzzles are the final boss. Bullshit is the final boss. Bullshit is the final boss of Paper Mario Sticker Star. And do you want to know what? That isn't even the final phase. There's another battle. And the thing is, this one is just mediocre. There's no bullshit, there's no puzzles. It's just barraging the boss with stickers until you win. One Mega Flash Infinite Jump, which I saved at this point in the fight because you can't jump on Bowser before now, did 300 damage, which is 3/5 of his health, in one attack. For context, you can do 5 attacks per turn. Before the fight really starts, Kirsty sacrifices herself to make Mario more powerful, but all it does is make me laugh. It tries to be an emotional moment, but none of it lands because Kirsty doesn't deserve feeling sorry for. And once she sacrifices herself, you can just use 5 stickers in every turn. There's no challenge, no interesting elements, no anything. Spam the A button. Hit it good. Hit the one button to win. Over and over and over again. Are you having fun yet? How about now? How about fucking now? Bowser gets beaten, Peach gets saved, has a speech, and then Mario uses the royal stickers to wish for Kirsty to come back to life, because apparently that's what he wanted most in life. Then the sticker fest happens again. Bowser comes back and tries to touch the sticker comma again. Kirsty yells at him, and everyone laughs at the final joke of this episode of the Mario sitcom, and the game ends. I don't even really have any complaints about the ending, because it's not like I was supposed to expect anything anyways. It's an ending to a story that barely existed. And as an ending to a story that barely existed, it's perfectly fine. The credits are nice, even though they're literally beat for beat the same as Paper Mario 64's credits. It's a parade with floats for all the characters. It combines music tracks from every world into one great music track. Halfway through it, it turns into a light show, and honestly, it's just great. And as the game finishes, the book closes. This is the final Paper Mario game to be made in a book. That's it. That's all there is. So, what's left? I mean, I've kind of already buried Sticker Star in a hole and covered it up, but I want to stop and acknowledge some of the good this game has to offer. The game's structured quite uniquely. From the start, you can go to any of the first 3 worlds first, but you can't really do much unless you go to the first world. Each world is locked behind a sticker puzzle. You need the trumpet for World 3 to wake up Wiggler, which is in the Goomba Fortress at the end of World 1. You need 6 stickers to put on a door in World 2. They're all really easy to find, except for one. There are only 2 places to find a poison mushroom. In the shop in 1-5, which is hidden by a secret exit in 1-4, or behind a house in Diekelberg. What this means is you can get to World 2 before beating World 1. You can also get to World 3 before beating World 2 or 1. This also means you can go a decent way into Worlds 3 and 2, and get to Worlds 4 and 5 before beating World 1 as well. Now you might think this breaks the difficulty curve in the game. This game is split into levels. I think it works fine here. You don't have any big story or anything, so you can easily just play a level whenever you want, without having to worry about remembering a large overarching story. To be fair, it's not that hard to remember a story. It's more there to be able to play the game in short bursts, and it works, that's all. Makes the actual levels more memorable since they have names, that's for sure. The final thing I'll mention is once you beat a level, you can just leave at any time when you return. That alone just removes a ton of backtracking that would have sucked. The world map is something I see criticized a lot about the game. It's probably more about criticizing the structure than the actual map. In my opinion, the map is honestly insanely charming. The way that once you beat a level, the comet lifts out of the level you're in, flips the level over from red to blue, then plunges into the next one, flips the next level spot over, then peels back a strip to the level, like one of those strips on paper. That's so much attention to detail in just one little tiny animation. The little pop-up pieces of paper like a diorama, like the little tiny Goomba Fortress or like the Chomp Ruins. Then there are some that change once you do things. After you stop the sandstorm in the oasis, the trees stop spinning in the overworld. Once you beat Ice Bowser, he disappears off his throne. Once you restore Dryback Stadium, the tower is on the world map. Then there's the music, which changes in every world. There's little waves that move back and forth on the ocean. The only reason the final level of World 3 is built up so much is because you can see the ship on the ocean on the world map. Honestly, the whole world map is just insanely charming. A small thing I'd like to touch on is the whole "this is just new Super Mario Bros. But paper" argument. It really isn't. Sure, the locations are all grass, desert, forest, snow, mountain, lava. But the game at least does something interesting with them. In the grass world, there's a fortress like the ones at the ends of the levels of Super Mario Bros. There's a Bowser statue, a lift, and a mansion in the snow world. The desert has an oasis, catacombs, a sphinx, and a tower with a baseball stadium at the top. There's so many examples, but there's so much more here than just the backdrops that New Super Mario Bros. Levels themes are. Think back to Paper Mario 64. Just because the world themes are basic, doesn't mean that they are inherently bad. Here's something I see praised a lot. Humor, 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 humor. The game's funny. It has some genuinely funny moments, and that's really it. There's some funny jokes. There are a few jokes that are just paper jokes and kind of suck, and that's it. No Paper Mario game has really acknowledged the paper part. It was just an art style. TTYD had the paper abilities, but that was really it. Sticker Star, however, is paper Mario. As I mentioned before, the entire world is a diorama. Everything is paper. Everything! Things fold and crease, crumple and turn, and it's all really charming. It feels like an evolution of the original art style. I mean, even the name of the game, Paper Mario Sticker Star, and the gimmick of peeling stickers off the world and using them is just such a step up from it being solely in the background. It's honestly really cool to see such a dedication to an art style here. Sound effects are not something you see people talking about when you talk about most games. However, in Sticker Star, the sound effects actively make my enjoyment of the game higher. It makes peeling stickers satisfying. Hitting things with your hammer is just fun to me because it makes a different noise based on what you hit. Jumping sounds nice too, placing stickers sounds nice, everything sounds so nice to do and actively makes the game better somehow. I guess it just makes the pleasure sensors go off my brain or something. Sticker Star's OST is just banger after banger. From the very beginning to the very end, there isn't one bad song. It's primarily jazz, but rarely will go into another genre. There's songs that create good atmospheres like the desert theme or the poison forest theme. The title theme is great, the battle theme slaps, the boss themes, oh, the boss themes are amazing. The Tower Power Pokey. Ice Bowser. PD Piranha. Or Goober Bloober. They're all amazing. Even though the final boss is how it is, the music is still really amazing for that one. The first phase has amazing music. The second phase is great. And the music that plays once Kirsty sacrifices herself is amazing. Honestly, I did find myself wishing the game this music was made for was better. It had more story, more characters, because that's ultimately what gets people attached to video game music most of the time. The moments they're attached to, the stories, the characters, and Sticker Star really doesn't have that. It never will. I can always wish that Sticker Star was a better game, wish that Miyamoto hadn't come that fateful day and said the game was just a port, but it happened. Maybe in some other timeline, Paper Mario Sticker Star was the best game in the series. But that isn't the world we live in. Sticker Star's legacy is its failure. It fails in gameplay, story, character, but the game does have some really good parts. Its structure, its sense of humor, the way it uses paper, its world map, its sounds and sights, its music, and the fucking Enigma Mansion are all spectacular. The people who made this game seem to care immensely, but that makes it all the more confusing. The game feels like no one played it to make sure most of the elements are good. It feels like there's no playtesting. People said, these are my decisions, so they must be good, right? And that's just not how you design a game. There needs to be more input than just one or two people saying, okay, that's fine, or multiple people being ignored. There's no real way to figure out what happened to Paper Mario Sticker Star. There's only assumptions. We have words from Tanabe, Kudo, and the other developers. We have old trailers and screenshots, but nothing else. The whole development's like a mystery book with half the pages torn out. We can obviously make assumptions to fill those gaps, but there's some gaps that just can't be filled. And there are gaps where the solution just seems right under our noses, but we'll never find it. The solution won't be found, unless out of left field someone comes out and tells the entire story, which is extremely unlikely. Did you notice that I tried not to compare this game to other Paper Mario games unless absolutely necessary? I compared it whenever I was comparing it directly, just kind of this was good about Sticker Star, and it's also good about the other games, or this is a direct evolution of something from the other games, like I said with the whole paper thing. But I really tried not to compare it to the previous games. I hear so many people say, you think modern Paper Mario is bad because you like the older games so much. It's just nostalgia. I want to lay that argument to rest right now. At least for me anyways. Sticker Star has bad game design decisions. Loads of them. I'm not saying they're bad because previous games had good game design decisions. I say it because they're just bad game design decisions. If anything, I should be the one who's nostalgic for Sticker Star. And I am. I used to love Sticker Star when I was little. When I play the game, I'm always reminded of the times I spent on it. I have no nostalgia for 64 or TTYD. I played them for the first time 2 years ago. I love them, yeah, but I'm not nostalgic towards them. The only game I am nostalgic towards is Super. Even though I used to love Sticker Star, I can still acknowledge that it's not a very good game. It's got lots of bad, but it has some good points too. And that's really why I want to say here. There's so many people who could just go, haha, Sticker Star bad, and then move on. And I just groan when I hear that, because Sticker Star deserves better than that joke. It's not complete garbage. It is not the worst game I've ever played by a long shot. It is not deserving of its long-standing position as the Paper Mario game that is pure garbage. There are worse games on the 3DS. There are worse games in Nintendo's library. There are even worse games in the Paper Mario series. But hey, that's a story for another time. For now,
Let us remember Sticker Star. Not only for its faults, but it's for its strengths. But did Sticker Star kill Paper Mario? That's a very good question. My answer would be no. Think about a sandwich from one of your favorite restaurants. Imagine you get the sandwich every weekend. It's great every time, but then one day it tastes awful. You don't stop going because you've had a bad sandwich one time. Then the next weekend it tastes just as good as it usually does. Or alternatively, it tastes just as bad as it did the previous day. I don't know if you see what I'm getting at here. It takes more than one sandwich to derail your opinion of the restaurant. It takes more than one game to kill a series. Sticker Star could have just been a fumble. A small bump in history. The real thing that killed Paper Mario was doing Sticker Star again. Twice. Once with another series, effectively killing that series, and once with the next installment of Paper Mario. But those are stories for another time. And as this chapter of Paper Mario closes, a new one opens up. But as I said, that's a story for another time.
Welcome to the end of the video. If you got here, thank you a lot. It means a lot. Before I turn this off, I have a few things I'd like to say. So before writing this video, I was planning on making videos in every other Paper Mario game, like Super and TTYD. I realized after that, I shouldn't force myself to do that. I have 4 nearly finished scripts of nearly 50 pages for videos I can't bring myself to record. I don't know, the scripts don't feel right to me. I hope you all understand. This video in particular took, I want to say 7 months to make. It was a huge hassle, and it took a lot of effort and time. So, again, thank you if you got to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment, or subscribe. It helps me a lot. I'll try to be on a more regular schedule of videos in the future, but without community posts, it's insanely hard to communicate at all. Anyways, I hope you all have a great rest of your day.